So the bill going through the Ohio government basically states that a woman cannot have abortion after 6 weeks, and that's because of the heartbeat, hence the name heartbeat bill. Also, if you do get an abortion after 6 weeks, the doctor and the woman can be tried for murder. In Ohio, the death penalty is legal, which makes certain people think there's a comparison there. We met people from both sides. We first met with students from BG, and here's what they had to say.
Rose Connors.
Rose Connors. What major are you by chance?
I'm a social work major.
Social work major. And what's your year?
I'm a junior.
What are your thoughts on the heartbeat bill?
Oh my god, I hate it a lot.
Why do you hate it?
I hate it a lot because it's reducing half of the population of our state to incubators, and that's disgusting.
Where did you find that?
I found that on all my readings of the heartbeat bill.
Do you think this bill is legal in any way? Because it is likely going to be challenged in the Supreme Court.
I mean, a lot of things were legal up until they weren't, so just because they can pass it doesn't really mean it's constitutional.
The Speaker of the House in the Ohio House specifically said that this bill was designed from the ground up to challenge Roe v. Wade. Do you think that is true? And do you think they have a new shot at passing or winning this legal argument with the new Supreme Court?
Honestly, that doesn't surprise me considering the fact that a lot of people in Ohio are very conservative and very much Bible thumpers. I don't think that makes it a wise political move either, or a wise policy.
What's your name?
Jessica Hayes,
And what major are you doing?
mechatronics.
You first year, second year, or third?
Second year, I believe.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts on the abortion bill, or the heartbeat bill rather, that's going through the Ohio government?
I don't like it. Women should have a right to do what they want with their bodies.
What implications, if this does pass, will this have on Planned Parenthood, do you think? Do you think that this would have virtually shut it down in all its services?
I don't think it'll shut it down, because like Planned Parenthood isn't just the abortion part. There's the STDs, the sex education, and everything like that. I don't think it'll shut it down.
Okay. And what do you think legitimately, because this will be challenged very likely in the Supreme Court, do you think the Supreme Court, with the new justice in head, will change Roe v. Wade or anything equivalent to that?
I do not know.
Okay. What's your name?
I'm Andrew.
And what's your major?
Computer science and Asian studies.
And what year are you?
I'm a third year.
What are your thoughts on the recent Ohio heartbeat bill that's currently going through the Senate?
So, 6 weeks is for sure not enough time, because most of the time you either aren't aware of it or it can't really be detected by that point. Also, treating it as murder is a little harsh for ending the life of something that has no name, personality, or distinguishing features. I don't know, that's all I got.
Yeah, and this is likely to be challenged in the Ohio Supreme Court. What do you think, what do you see happening? Or not the Ohio Supreme Court, my bad. The actual Supreme Court with the new justice. Do you think something like this?
I think that it's going to be very hard to get anything progressive done with the current loadout of the Supreme Court.
So in your mind, you think this will actually overturn something like, say, Roe v. Wade?
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm a little worried.
After hearing these people's feelings about the bill, we decided to get in contact with Her Choice, a pregnancy crisis center here in Bowling Green. They declined an interview, but referred us to someone else willing to speak.
So, I'm going to meet right now with Ed Sitter, who is a representative for Foundation for Life in Toledo, the Her Choice Pregnancy Crisis Center. They recommended me to him, and I'm going to meet him and ask him some questions. Originally, I was going to ask these questions to Her Choice, but they said that they are not political.
Yeah, I would say our mission is, in a nutshell, is to safeguard the right to life in culture and law from conception through natural death And we do that basically in two ways. One is through education and the other is through advocacy. And that's the reason why we have Foundation for Life, which is primarily it's a 501c3, which is education, and then advocacy, Greater Toledo Right to Life, which is a 501c4.
So is that like, I'm guessing that's like funded through donations?
We are totally funded by donations.
Figured. So with this heartbeat bill, what are your thoughts on it? Like initially when it came on the scene, it definitely caused a national like outstir from like even publishers like New York Times even caught wind of it.
Okay. Well, let's keep it in perspective. This has been about 8 or 9 years now that we've been trying to get this bill passed, and in essence, science has even evolved since that time. Now there's initially the publication said about 4 weeks, 5 weeks thereabouts. Now they have evidence, scientific evidence, as recent as 16 days they can detect a heartbeat, clearly at 21 days. Okay, so this is something that most women have no idea they're pregnant at that stage of their pregnancy. So and how do we determine death? We determine death by the ceasing of the heart, right? And I'm not saying life doesn't begin when the heart starts beating, but what I'm saying is that people can identify with the beginning of that process the same way they can identify with the end of that process, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So our organization believes that all life has an inalienable right to life.
All right. And I guess on that, in the proposed bill right now, it's going around. Some people were maybe like gray area, which abortion, a lot of people were in a gray area. And one of the things that a lot of people were upset about that I know, like my school, like people were like, yeah, I'm okay with this, but I'm not okay with this, was the idea that, let's say a woman was raped or underaged or any realm of that, or it's going to kill the mother if she has a baby because of health complications. This bill does not protect them. Do you think that's maybe justified, or is there something else going on there?
Okay. In the case of life of the mother, then you don't make a choice. Your purpose is to save both. 99% of the times you can't save both patients, the unborn child and the mother. In the case of a situation where they're trying to, the health complications that you're talking about, that actually threatens the life of the mother. So the intention is not to abort the baby. The intention is to save both patients' lives. But the reality of it is that 99% of the time they can only save the mother's life. So we would support that. That's not the issue in this bill. It's not life of the mother. It's health of the mother. And the definition of health of the mother, economic, emotional, all kinds of different health definitions. It's not your critical health or significant health of the mother. You don't understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That would affect her physically for the rest of her life, impair her physically for the rest of her life. Okay, that's not what they're describing when they say health of the mother. So we are opposed to that. Okay.
All right. And those things are just some of the highlights he said. It's actually a very solid interview. We spoke for about 20 minutes. I will post that somewhere, probably on YouTube, if anyone does want to see that. But what I took away from it is, in his mind, he's doing everything right. And that's, for him, that's honorable. But a lot of people will disagree with him. And if he does get what he wants, that will likely hurt a lot more people than what people would like to admit. Because in the end of the day, all that matters here is women's rights. And what are women's rights in this instance? Does it mean they get an abortion? Or does it just mean something like they get to vote, much like anyone else should? It's going to come down to it, and I'm likely expecting the Supreme Court to do something that it is in favor of what he believes. And whether you agree with it or not, Ohio and likely the United States will look a lot different after that type of ruling.